bring the Doomfist back in for another bite of the apple, and Donghak is hungry. It's Landon falling first now. Soundbarrier comes out again, belatedly, not enough to save the Baptiste once more, and Donghak deals with Sparker. Now the Sim slow, let's finish you. Fielder from the higher ground though, but the Blizzard could be good, and Lip's already been taken down. Donghak set off the map! It's both of us, buddy! And the London Spitfire open up with a big round win!
Hello everyone, welcome to another video. The lighting's a little bit off because I'm recording this one later than usual because I want to get it out before I fly out to LA for the Overwatch World Cup. Today I want to try something a little bit different. In a lot of my videos so far we've looked at the big picture stuff. How has a series been won and lost? Today I want to delve into the detail a little bit more, and I want to talk about how we play Ilios Lighthouse on the London Spitfire. We always felt so extremely confident on that map. I think if you look at our officials from across the season, you can see now we won most of them. Now, one we lost was in Pro, all the way back in Pro AM. This is the comp we were playing. God knows what we were thinking, but it's fair to say it didn't work. But once we swapped onto the Reinhardt and had a more objective-based approach, we won the rest of them. So I want to look in more detail about why it works for us, why it's so consistent for us, and why I don't think anyone can beat it. To do that, we're going to take a look at the Lighthouse against the Atlanta Reign from playoffs this season. Before we get stuck into too many of the details, let's talk about some of the big concept ideas behind our approach in this map. But first, as with always on London, it's going to be an objective-focused approach where we want to make sure we're in control of a point, percentage is ticking up basically anytime we're fighting. To the degree we're not even going to be that aggressive in lots of situations. We're not really going to cross over this line. Haddy will at times, but most of us won't. We just want to control this area. What makes this so good on Lighthouse is the topography of the map. So because we're on the beautiful coastline of Greece, what it really means is it really limits the approach the Atlanta players can come from. So obviously lots of stuff can come from the front, use these doors at the side. Even the side ones are pretty tricky to use. But this back door, really only Echo Mercy can use it, which means it's quite easier for us to know where all the threats are coming from, manage all of these, and deal with them as they come up. The second thing is because our comp is so good at fighting in a room and on point, we're able to keep the point for long periods of the map, again, keeping its percentage ticking up. And then, obviously, we can lose slow for a lot of the map where we just die slowly, keep the percentage ticking up, but eventually you need to win a fight. But the nice thing about our comp is so many of our ults are good at fighting on a point. Simwall is great, Beat is great, my ult is great. So there's so many opportunities for us to get the percentage really high, and then one of our retakes, we come back with some really good ults to win a fight on the point. And this is the core idea behind our approach and why we found it to be so effective. At this point, you might be thinking, this sounds easy enough. Just TP the point, stand on the point, lose as slowly as possible, stall it out, then at some point you get to retake with ult advantage. Easy enough, right? Incorrect. When we tried to do this on Team UK, we found that standing on the point and just living is actually a very London-specific skill. It's way harder than it looks. It's so easy to get traded, especially when teams start playing comps like this, which are built specifically to try and undo what we are trying to do on London. It gets a lot harder, and we found it just couldn't work on Team UK. So with that in mind, I want to take a look at a lot of the individual decisions that the London players are making, because it would be really fair to say that while the big concept idea is something we came up as a coaching staff and as a team, the individual decisions is really just something that the players have evolved over time, and a lot of credit should go to them for figuring out the play styles and the micro play. So I want to focus on a lot of their decision making as we look through this first fight. What we're going to see now is the first engage from Atlanta, and it's important to consider that the two biggest dangers for us on London are the Annonade and the damage boosted Echo. So what we're going to see, we have two main ways to block damage: Haddy's shield and Backbone's wall. So we'll use the wall in these areas a lot of the time, or maybe even up here to block the nade. Meanwhile, Haddy will spend a lot of his time following the Echo around. So if the Echo's coming around the back, well then Haddy's going to meet and shield his damage. If the Echo's over here, well then Haddy's going to meet and shield his damage. Then for everybody else, it varies slightly. For Admiral, it's a lot of just play safe, keep the heals coming. If you ever get a chance just to boop and mark one of these doors, just relieve little bits of pressure here and there. That's what he's looking to do. Similarly with Landon, keep everyone topped up. If there's ever a chance for you to peek aggressively and put a bit of pressure, especially on the Mercy or Echo, it can be really good. If he ever finds the right timing where Atlanta or whichever team's attention isn't there, he can even get kills on the Mercy. Likewise for Spark and Backbone, it's the same. Is your door free? Can you peek out and hit a right click or something? Especially if we hit like a sim right click or a Mei right click on the Ana. It buys us so much pressure because the Mercy can't heal her, so she has to de-peek for a long time. So even though we won't kill the Ana most of the times, if we hit a headshot or a sim right click on her, it buys us so much time, and we're all about time on the objective here. So this is exactly what we're trying to do with this first set of cooldowns. You see the wall come and it blocks both the echo and one of the nade angles, even though not the one he uses. They use the nade, so again, now we've got a chance to be a swing, be a little bit aggressive. Haddy's going to get the pin trade, and this actually causes a lot of problems, because what they're going to do is then they're going to trade it into sleep. Then they put a lot of pressure on Haddy, they boop him away again. This forces us to use lamp, forces us all to take a step forward. So this is actually a mistake from us. We've caused ourselves a bit of a problem. We're going to come back to the point, but because we were busy getting Haddy out, it means Landon's not quite ready to jump over the punch and dodge it, so Donghak hits the punch. Then they're going to throw the nade in, the nade connects, and now it looks like a bit of a disaster. This is also where our mindset changes on London. Now we realise, hey, our Paps died immediately, we're probably not going to win this fight. So what's important for us now is to go into a slightly different mode where we want to maximise our time on the objective. But a good way to maximise your time on the objective isn't just to play super passive and hide in corners and all of this. It's to make the fight messy. Make it a dogfight. Can we find trades? So now all of a sudden, people's mindset change. If we look at some of the decisions here, Haddy's immediately going to go and get himself a Mega. Obviously, we're low on heals, so getting a Mega is good, but he wants this Mega so he can make a play. Likewise, what's going to happen for Spark is he's going to see, can I find a TP timing to do something aggressive? Trade, find a good right click from a weird angle. Backbone's going to make the same decision. Can I take an Angel and just win it because I'm so good at Mei? Really possible. For Landon, if he was still alive, he would maybe do a similar thing. Can he peek out this back window? Maybe even jump up here and try and trade the Mercy or something. Make it chaotic. Meanwhile, our boy Admiral is going to play to make sure the point doesn't flip. Just try and keep it ticking over, drag it out as long as possible. So let's see what happens here. They're going to keep trying to pressure. They're going to try and force everyone down. Backbone's going to use his wall just to help us dodge. At this point, Fielder's now made a crucial mistake. He thinks because they have player advantage, he just wants to close the distance, have Atlanta group up and play as 5 to finish the fight. But because he's now dropped, Haddy comes back with full health, is going to find an opportunity to pin onto him and trade. And now the chaos begins. What we see here as well is Admiral's going to go play his life because he knows Backbone has the touch. Going to try and get the Mega. What he's also done now is he's drawn Lip away and he's drawn Donghak away. And Chio's even a little bit split. So now all of a sudden, despite how badly this fight started for us, we're in a situation where Backbone's managed to find a one-on-one Angel with Stalker, and he's able to win it because he is really good at Mei. And now all of a sudden, this starts to get really horrible for Atlanta. They're going to have to start committing more ults. Backbone's going to ice on point. Haddy and Admiral are back now. Another pin trade, more pressure onto Donghak. They force the Doom ult out. Now he comes back in. Again, we're looking for more and more trades. Landon's now back in the fight, able to get the lamp. There's a real consideration now with the ults coming up. Now this fight goes from die slow and lose slowly to winnable. We're going to get the kill on Lip. We're going to force for copy. Here we make a bit of a blunder where Donghak's able to punch Haddy off the map. We're still stalling out though. When Haddy goes off the map, that obviously sort of changes our mindset a bit. So we're now not considering winning maybe quite as much, especially because not only have we lost a person, Landon's also going to die just after, but also they've used so many ults. Now they've used so many ults. This retake seems really on all of a sudden. We're going to stall it out a little bit more. Any more trades are great, but really, we're pretty happy with how this fight has gone. And if you look at this, this is a fight where our BAP died immediately before we had even capped the objective initially. And the result of us losing our BAP immediately is we get 42%. They have to use all their ults. We don't have to use anything. And this is why it's so broken. Most important part of any Symmetra retake is reading the enemy's position, because teams are getting better and better and better at playing against Sim. They have two main options. They can either go on your TP entrance, so they try and boop you and have good angles and engage timings for where you try and go through the TP, or they anticipate where you're going to put the TP, say in this case you probably anticipate it's going to go point, and then set up everyone to maybe get a good Ana nade and a good timing in this area. For Atlanta Reign, they normally always opt to go on the entrance, and that's a helpful thing to know. But in general, the best course of action is just to go out and have a look. Where are they? Are they in this area? Well, let's TP round them. Are they on point? Well, let's just go this way and TP to point that way. You're going to see us get a read of where they're holding. We've seen that they're holding in this area, so we do the coast TP. We're going to outpace them. We're going to get across just in time. And you can imagine, if they were all set up for point when we did this, the Doom's probably getting a 5k and we're probably looking a little bit foolish. But because we've done our due diligence, we've walked out and checked their position, we're able to get to point straight away. Then we're going to immediately drop Mayo. And you might be looking at this and thinking, I know Donkhack's jumped into it now, but it's really unlikely anyone's actually going to freeze off this. Is this a mistake? Did we do this on purpose? 100% we did this on purpose. We want to get in this flip immediately. Get it ticking up. Get it in our favour. Put the time pressure on the Atlanta Reign. So even though it might look low value from the outside, I can tell you we're pretty buzzing about this in general. We're quite happy just to get the flip and get it ticking over. And now we are back to the same game as the previous fight. Can we be proactive, deal with the threats, and just try and stall it out as long as possible? We're going to see Backbone get a pick just because he's good at Mei. It always helps if your Mei player can just do this. We see a situation where Landon's actually going to have his lamp forced because the Echo's got behind for free. We're going to see everyone move to try and keep this pressure off Landon. I think there's probably a good argument here. Now, we could have paid more attention to Stalker in these situations. He's probably got more value than we'd like. They're now going to nano the Doom in, and because Stalker was able to force that initial lamp, they're now able to trade Landon, and our beat is just slightly slow. So again, another fight where our BAP dies really early. We managed to get trades though, so it's not all lost. We turn it into a pretty big dogfight, but they do get the res, so there is now in this situation where actually they're kind of back to 5. We've used a couple of ults and we're down Landon. Maybe we just look again. Can we just lose slowly? Maybe do a retake with Symbol. It's probably what's on our mind. But we're proactive again. We're able to get this kill onto the Mercy. Now Stalker's in a bit of a predicament. Donghack makes a mistake here, maybe showing some of his inexperience on Doomfist. Hattie's going to be able to take this insta-pin. And now because we've traded these kills, we're just able to stabilize off it. You can see at this point, we're really happy just to slow it down and play on point. We don't need to go get more kills. We don't need to do anything crazy. We bought ourselves loads of time. Let's just get this Doomfist off Hattie, clear him, care the nade, care the Echo. You'll see Spark do TPs like this quite a lot. Quite often in these two corners where he just uses it as a movement ability, essentially, where he can dodge back and forth. This gives him much better survivability than you normally have on Sim. And again, all factors into staying alive and keeping this percentage ticking up. Now all of a sudden, Hattie's back. He's going to pin across. We managed to catch Donghack this time. You can see all of a sudden it's very split and the timing's just not quite right for Atlanta in any of these situations. And because of this, Atlanta now feel the need to reset, essentially. Especially without the Doomfist to take the aggro, they have to reset. So again, we start the fight by losing our BAP, and this is the situation we find ourselves in. Not too bad, really. If we skip ahead a little, we'll get to final fight. Atlanta just waited for Donghack to respawn. Now he's back. They're going to look to take another engage. You can see this entire time, even though we're in a 5v4, we're not keen to leave this area or risk anything. It's really hard to push out of these areas, even with player advantage. So we're quite happy just to stay in our little house and be ready for their next set of ultimates. And that's an important concept to remember as well. We'll use an ult to flip the point, but other than that, all of our ults are normally just reactive to their dives. We're not looking to start anything. We're not going to start any trouble. But if you come into our house and try and use an ultimate, that's when we're going to respond. So if we take a look, they're going to start with Blade. Forces us to use a window in response. Again, Nano Blade's a very scary combination for our comp to deal with. But just a naked Blade, really not that big of a problem at all. Landon's going to insta-drop the window. You can see immediately Hattie's in position to just keep everyone off the window. Spark, again, has his just movement ability TP, so it's hard to kill him with Blade. And we just kind of deal with it. Lip's going to say, okay, I guess I trade 1 for 1. A nade comes in, misses his time for Fielder. Now they're going to look to go again. You can see this wall timing from Backbone is very good again. Not only does it wall off their Mei copy, it walls off Fielder's LOS, and it means on this dive engage from the Genji and Doom, Rather than dealing with all 5 Atlanta players, we're just dealing with a couple of them. And it's a lot easier to deal with 2 Atlanta players than to deal with 5. They still force our lamp, but we managed to clear them off. Backbone's even able to get the trade because he's good at May. They're going to be able to get the res. And they're going to be pretty close to copy. Again, they managed to trade Landon. They hit a good nade on Sparker, but Beat comes through just in time to save Sparker. They've managed to res, so this is, again, a very tricky situation. We're going to be able to get our Blizzard real soon. This kill here from Backbone is, I think, what swings it in our comms just from, should we lose it and do a retake? So actually, we can win. We can win. And after that, he's going to wall himself on point. He's going to drop the mail. You see, Admiral's managed to find a kill on Genji here. He's just been swatted. And I think what's important to note is all of these kills we're finding are because Atlanta players are split and separated. Their timing's not good because of all the disruption we're doing. It's easy for Admiral and Hadi to kill this Genji in this situation, right? But because of all the chaos and the plays other people are making, it creates these situations. Just like we saw in first fight where Backbone was able to get that 1v1 Angel with Stalker. Now, we drop the May ult on point. They're going to nano Dong hack. Hadi does the calculation in his head, realizes he should trade his life, take care of this nano Doom, let everyone play to force point. For Atlanta Reign, their Doomfist or whatever tank the enemy team's running, they're the person who has to take most of the aggro and the touch, especially when it's 99%. Again, this time pressure makes it so much harder for the Atlanta Reign. Great decision by Hadi, forces him off, we're going to get it. Admiral's going to clean up another one, there's no one left to touch, and despite us losing our BAP in all of these fights, and not all of them were Landon's fault. I think Landon is very good at BAP, if not the best in the world. But even without the BAP, the way we played it and the decisions we made afterwards mean we're still able to win this map 100% to 19% despite all the things that went wrong. I don't think Genji's optimal into our composition, and likewise a less experienced Doom probably also hampered Atlanta's chances in that series. Despite that though, our approach to Lighthouse has been rock solid all year, both in officials and scrims. And I think while the way Lighthouse is designed really emphasises a lot of the things we prioritise in London, a lot of them you can apply anywhere. And I think the biggest and most important ones are be an objective focused gamer. It's the most important thing in the game, guys. Make your decisions with that in mind. Secondly, and this is really important when playing against Dive, always be proactive. Disrupt them as much as possible. Don't let them get a clean setup because good teams will punish you. Thirdly, and you can actually use this in any comp matchup, know the dangers. What are the biggest threats? Is it Ana nade? If it's Ana nade, where's it going to come from? How are we going to respond to it? Do we have a good disengage spot? Can we wall it? Can we shield it? What cooldowns are we using in response to their cooldowns? And finally, this is really important anywhere that you play Sim, but also in general, know the rotation. How are you going to get past their setup? Are they holding close? Do you need to clear something first before you can TP? Can you just TP past it? Figure it out and then get yourself back on that objective. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.